Fear of death is perhaps the most fundamental force that shapes human behavior. Ancient civilizations, in their yearning for permanence, raised pyramids toward the heavens, carved sacred texts into stone, and built temples that still echo with prayers for immortality. Across cultures, faith has sought to soften the finality of death, promising heavens, rebirths, or the transcendence of suffering. Yet, as science illuminated the workings of the universe, it also started casting long shadows over these beliefs, reducing consciousness to a fleeting spark of biochemical activity destined to fade. But here lies a paradox. For all its progress, science remains silent on the greatest mystery of all. Death, the threshold beyond which no instrument can measure and no theory can fully grasp, remains untouched, a question that neither faith nor reason has truly answered. Perhaps both views fall short, for what if the essence of our being is not confined to fleeting flesh, nor extinguished by time? What if, in shedding our earthly forms, we are not lost, but returning home to something boundless, something familiar? Perhaps, in seeking to understand death, we are truly seeking to understand life itself. In my end is my beginning, a profound truth that hints at the deeper nature of existence, transcending religious or mystical interpretations. It reminds us that to truly grasp an ending, we must first understand its origin. Consider a plant withering in the absence of sunlight. At first glance, the cause seems simple, yet without understanding the intricate process of photosynthesis, the explanation remains incomplete. Likewise, we see the body deteriorate and assume consciousness fades with it. But is that the full picture? If consciousness were merely a product of the brain, science should be able to pinpoint its exact birth. Yet even the sharpest minds in neuroscience cannot define the precise moment consciousness emerges. Brain activity can be measured, but the essence of self-awareness, of being, remains elusive. If we do not fully understand how consciousness begins, how can we be so certain of how it ends? Perhaps the answer to death is hidden within the mystery of our own existence, waiting to be unraveled. A profound realization emerges when you comprehend the idea that consciousness has neither a beginning nor an end. If it is not merely a byproduct of the brain, but an intrinsic part of existence itself, then it is not something that can simply vanish. Science tells us that before the Big Bang, something existed beyond time and space, an unfathomable state that defies explanation. Could consciousness be woven from the same mysterious fabric? Quantum physics offers a compelling parallel. At the subatomic level, particles appear out of nowhere, not bound by direct cause and effect, but emerging spontaneously from a field of infinite potential. In the same way, our thoughts, memories, and sense of self may arise from an unseen realm of possibilities. Where does a thought exist before it enters our awareness? And where does it go once it fades from memory? If consciousness can emerge from the silent depths of the unknown, might it also return there, not as an ending, but as part of an eternal cycle of being? The fear of death in our minds often stems from the unsettling idea of non-existence. But non-existence itself is a paradox, an impossibility the mind cannot truly grasp. Try to picture absolute nothingness, and you'll find that even the act of imagining it fills the void with something. Existence is the very foundation of our reality, and even death is understood only in relation to life. We do not mourn the eternity before our birth, so why do we fear what follows after death? Be here and now is more than a spiritual mantra. It is a fundamental truth. No matter where we go or what changes, we are always in the present moment, always within the awareness of being. Consciousness is not a fleeting spark, it is home. And death, it does not cast us into some great absence. Instead, it may simply unveil what was always there, waiting beyond the veil of perception. Where does this leave us? Should we fear death or embrace it? The answer lies in shifting our perspective. Instead of viewing death as a terrifying abyss, we can see it as a homecoming, a return to the source of our being. Just as waves rise and fall within the ocean without ever leaving it, so too do we emerge and dissolve within the vast, boundless field of consciousness. Think of the time you sleep. Every night, you surrender yourself to the unknown, slipping into a state where your awareness fades, yet you do not fear it. In fact, you welcome sleep as a time of rest and renewal. If death is merely another form of this surrender, why should we resist it? And if consciousness is eternal, merged into the very essence of existence, then we are never truly lost. We are not vanishing, we are returning, flowing back into the infinite where we have always belonged. No matter how unique each person's journey may be, consciousness brings us all to the same place. It is the stage upon which life unfolds, the silent witness to every thought, emotion, and experience. We often chase the idea of being present as if it were a goal to achieve, but the truth is, we have never left the present moment. Being here and now is not a practice, it is an inevitability. You cannot exist outside of now, for now is all there ever is. Yet, so many live in fear of death, unknowingly allowing that fear to steal from the life they are meant to experience. A life spent dreading end is a life only half-lived. When you realize that consciousness is not a fragile flicker bound to the body, but the very foundation of existence, everything changes. Death no longer appears as an abrupt ending, but as a continuation of the great mystery you have always been part of. And in this realization, fear dissolves. Life becomes something to embrace fully, not despite its impermanence, but because of it. Without the weight of existential dread, every moment becomes more vivid, more meaningful, a glimpse into the infinite that has always held you. And with this understanding, you are finally free to live, not in fear, but in the fullness of being. Rather than waiting for the moment of death to provide answers, you see the opportunity to seek them here and now. In the quiet spaces of your everyday life, you turn inward and begin to explore the depths of your own consciousness. Meditation, introspection, and spiritual practices serve as gentle guides on this inner journey, inviting you to peel away the layers of everyday thought and to connect with the core of your being. Each moment of stillness, every deliberate breath, brings you closer to an experiential understanding of the truth that has always been present within you. This exploration reveals that the answers you long for are not hidden in some distant future or in the enigmatic moment of death, but are available to you in the very act of being present. As you learn to fully embrace your presence, you understand that your true essence is eternal, a constant, unchanging presence that remains with you always. So where do we go after we take our last breath in this physical body? The answer is both profound and disarmingly simple. Nowhere. We have never truly left, and we never will. Consciousness is not something we possess, it is what we are. It is our eternal home, the ever-present awareness within which all experiences rise and fall like waves upon an infinite sea. The fear of death is an illusion, a veil woven from the mind's attachment to form, the body, the identity, the fleeting stories we tell ourselves. But beneath these shifting tides, something remains. A silent, boundless presence, untouched by time, unshaken by endings. We mistake ourselves for the ripples, forgetting that we are the ocean itself. In reality, we are, and that is enough. And when we finally see this, everything shifts. Fear dissolves into trust. Anxiety softens into peace. The great mystery of existence remains, but it is no longer a weight upon our shoulders. It becomes something to marvel at, to dance with. Life and death are not opposing forces. They are the inhale and exhale of the same eternal breath. the ceaseless rhythm of being. They are movements within the same infinite dance, waves rising and falling within the ocean of being. In my end is my beginning. This is the truth that awaits beyond fear. Death is not a disappearance, but a return, a quiet unfolding back into the source from which we have always flowed. And in this realization, we find the deepest comfort of all. We are already home, and we always will be. So embrace this message and live your life immersed fully in the present moment. Do not fear the end of life, because there is actually no end when you possess the eyes to look at the bigger picture of existence. Thank you for being here with me until the end, sharing in this beautiful journey. I truly hope my words resonated with you and that you found something meaningful within them. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel to support this message further. Your time is greatly appreciated, and I am deeply grateful for your presence on this journey.